All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome to Sunday Night Charts with Jim of All Trades. Hope you're doing well. My name is Jim. I'm a crypto trader and a Forex trader here to help you understand the market from an Elliott Wave perspective. What's going on, guys? How you doing? I'm eating some chocolate chips while I'm talking to you. I'm so sorry. I am chewing into the microphone. Got my coffee ready to rock. Got my merch. If you want a nice coffee mug, you can go to my merch channel. There's some t-shirts there, and there's a nice coffee mug. It's well overpriced, but enjoy it. It says chill. The market always comes back. You can always remember me and support my channel. Go in the link in the description. There's a link to my merch channel. There's some shirts as well. Pretty cool, actually. They're not bad and good quality as well. It's a nice big coffee mug as well. Holds a lot of coffee. Good 12 to 14 ounces. I use 12 ounces on the what do you call it? For a little room for cream. So hope y'all are well. What's up, Sean Silvestro, my good sir there in Hawaii? How you doing, buddy? Hope you're well. What's up, Durham? Durham, what's up? Where are you located in the world? I don't know, but I'll give you a Moonboy count if you like. Of course, Keith, who's doing his nightly run, getting ready for his marathons that he runs. He's listening to me now like a podcast. We'll give you a Moonboy count, brother. Love you, man. Hope you're hanging in there. Let's see, Crypto Fever, my friend Jay there in London. I know. How you doing these days, buddy? I hope you're well. Eddie Bo, as always, glad you're here every night. You're faithful to come. I appreciate you, buddy. Guys, some of y'all just are faithful every week to be here, and it just astonishes me that you even care to listen. So that's why I keep doing what I'm doing, because of you guys. Love you guys. Appreciate you. But glad you're here. Hey, Nick. Hope you're well. No run tonight? Okay, good. You can maybe listen on your TV or something. So, all right, guys. Well, let's jump into the analysis. Don't forget, guys, I am not a financial advisor. Not here to give you financial advice. I will support you in trading and how you trade. I hope to help you with good risk management as well as strategies, and just tell you where I think the market's going. But don't ever trade the market based on what somebody else thinks. That is the worst thing in the world. It really is. You really need to have your own opinion about where the market's going. That means you need to do your own research and have the whys answered. I have reasons why I believe what I believe, and I'm going to share them with you tonight. But that doesn't make me correct. But it is how I understand the market, and I'm going to present that to you the best I can. And I believe that there's a very strong potential here for a sell-off. Okay, I think that potential is coming, or is here. So we're going to talk about that, and we're going to just do some analysis. I'm going to show you what I'm looking at. We're going to look at the Moonboy counts as well and say, what if you're wrong, Jim, and the market pumps instead of dumps? Is that possible? Can that happen? Yes, that can happen. So we're going to give you that. Let me know in the chat if you're picking up on me. Is there any interruption in the stream? I'm getting an error message from YouTube saying there's not enough video to maintain smooth streaming. So I want to know if you're getting me, if it's loud and clear, and if the video stream is good to go. Would you just let me know? Because I seem to be having connection issues a little bit. I turned off my VPN, so I think we're okay. But let me know, guys, in the chat if it's sounding good and looking good. Audio, video, okay? All right. Let me know. Let's see here. Let's see who we got. We got 27 people watching. So, well, let's go. It says I got a good connection now. So, how we doing, guys? How we doing on the connection? Did I drop out for a little bit? I need some feedback in the chat. Let me refresh my screen here. Anybody able to give me some feedback at all? Anyone? Bueller? Anyone? Anyone? I think I got connection issues here. I'm going to pause the stream for a minute here. All right, we are back. All right, let's see. Looks like I got my internet restored and the connection restored. I am now streaming again. Let me know that you can hear me. It is 9:11 at the moment. Let me know how we're doing. That I know you guys might be behind me a little bit. Sorry for the slow start here, guys. Testing 1, 2, 3. How we doing? We here? I don't want to do a live stream and have nobody here. Hopefully you guys are coming back in. All right, looks excellent on my end now. Okay, I haven't done any information, so yeah, I was just saying, do your own research, guys, and don't forget to make sure you don't take any trades based on what you hear on YouTube. You have a reason for your own positions, okay? All right, with that said, let's jump into the analysis. I do believe there's a reason for a sell-off coming. I think we're here. I think we have a top formation that just happened today, and we're now beginning our descent to the downside. However, I probably won't go down straight down today. You're going to have a wave 1 followed by a protracted wave 2, more than likely. You'll have a dump here, down here. It'll kind of look like some kind of fourth wave ready for the next move to the upside, which is possible, I imagine, with the bull boy count, right? But that's what it's going to look like. But really what it's going to be here is a triangle here, fifth wave, and then wave 1, wave 2, and then down we go. It's going to look very similar, more than likely, to that wave right there. In fact, we have the same formation taking place here, the same top formation taking place here. Now again, when things happen twice, you wonder, hey, is it going to happen the same way? Well, maybe not. Maybe it won't happen the same way. But you have a similar formation here where you have this boom and then boom, okay? This little flat hit the high and then comes straight back down. Same formation, what you got going here. You got this format, and then it hit to the high, boom. But this was actually a triangle, A, B, C, D, E. You got the triangle here in the RSI as well. You can see it more on the 1 hour. That triangle is more clear on the 1 hour. The RSI right here, boom, boom, A, B, C, D, E. A, B, C, D, E, boom, and then a hit to the high, okay? That hit to the high finished the wave out more than likely. Maybe there's another hit coming, so we may still have a little bit more up to go, but more than likely it's just going to take the highs out, pump, and then dump. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I believe right now. Now, the overall situation here is I'm looking at this as an ABC. I'm looking at this as A, B, and C. And the C wave has finished. We have 5 waves. We got a 1. We got a 2. We have 3. This was 4, and that's 5. Okay, there's 5 waves done. And in that, you had an extended 5th wave, potentially. So this could be 1, 2, 3. This was 4, and this was 5. And that was the 4th of the 5th right up there. So that's a possibility as well. Okay. So that's what I'm looking at as a potential here. Let me check. Yeah, we're doing okay. YouTube's giving me another error message. Let me know if we're doing okay. I'm going to keep going. So anyway, that's the way I'm counting this wave as an A. Oh, come on. A, B, and a C wave that finished, retested the highs. Okay, took out this liquidity, is now approaching this liquidity up here. Could even take the high out. I don't think so, but it could. I wouldn't be surprised if it took the high, to be honest with you. And then, so what you'd see here is 3 waves to the downside. This is 3 waves to the upside. It's going to be followed more than likely going to be followed by 5 waves because we've come back 90% of the A wave here. We came back 90% of that, so it's probably going to be followed by a 5-wave move. So it's going to be more than likely fast and furious to the downside. When I say fast and furious, in general, it's going to happen in quick time. That doesn't mean happen in a day. It just means it'll happen in weeks, not months, more than likely. It'll happen in weeks. So I would expect this wave to be pretty quick. Okay, why is that? Because it went up quick. It'll start off kind of slow, boom, boom, and take most of the time will be taken in wave 1 and wave 2. And when everybody's buying in on this dip here and thinking we're going to go up, that's when it's going to dump. But it's going to have to be dumped. It's going to have to dump fast so it can trap traders there. So that's something to pay attention to. That's at least a wave count to pay attention to, and something that we could see as a bearish count. All right. Now we do have, if we look on the daily chart, you do see we've retested the overbought condition here. The only problem with that is that on the daily we don't have the divergence that we like to see right in here. But you do see it on the 12-hour. So if I shift to the 12-hour, that divergence is present between wave 4 and wave 5, or wave 3 and wave 5. Boom. Boom. Right? And we also have divergence here now between that wave and this wave. So those are all, and so you have kind of a double divergent little scenario going on right here, much like this one was right here when you got the new top, and then you got the divergence right there, and then you got the double divergence right in there, ready for the down move, so the RSI would reset. So we're going to look, and we want to see the RSI reset at least. And that's when we know at least the first part of the move is complete. Okay, so we'll look for the first part of the move. Then we'll look for retrace. So whenever that RSI resets to oversold here, then it'll play around up here for a bit, more than likely, much like this wave right in here. That wave was trashy and nasty, but it'll do something to that effect, and it'll make you think it's going to keep going up further, more than likely, and then it's going to roll over one day on news. There's going to be a black swan or something, and the market's going to dump, and it's going to dump hard and fast. Okay, and so that there will be a day that the market just blows out of the range and traps all the longs up there. So I just want you to be careful as you prepare for that. If you start to see, if we get an impulse wave off of this, then I'm probably correct. Look for some kind of a 3-wave shape back to the upside. Don't get caught in it thinking it's bullish going up. More than likely, it's going to roll over and go down. That's at least the wave structure that I'm seeing on the table. Now that would be the bearish way to interpret the waves. Okay, and so that would be one way. That would be one way it could play. All right, so I do see after the first wave, I'm going to see it. We're going to see it retest this current area that we're sitting at, more than likely, because that's generally what price does. But here's the thing: sometimes it does it, and sometimes it doesn't. And generally, what I do know, it'll do it in a way that you don't expect. In other words, price often does what you expect it to do, just not in a way that you expect it. It'll go where you expect it to go, just not in the way that you expect it, to make trading difficult. In other words, everybody sees the same trend lines that you see. Everybody sees the same support and resistance that you see. Everybody sees the same levels that you see. And everybody has the same ideas that you have, right? But the thing is that if the market makers and those that move the market are going to make any money, they have to get you believing that what you're looking for is taking place, right? So in other words, if they need to sell it, if market making entities plus the banks and everybody else need to sell their Bitcoin, the market needs to look bullish, okay, in order for you to sell it, them to sell it. Why? Because they need willing buyers. And so they have to create circumstances and news narratives in which the market is saying, hey, you need to buy because Bitcoin's going up. So right now we have the narrative of the news, of the government saying, hey, we got stablecoin legislation coming in, right? Well, Is that stablecoin legislation gonna pass? Well, they're saying it might, it could, it should, whatever. That Congress is going to pass it. But what if something fails and all of a sudden we don't have stablecoin regulation and the bullishness that we see, because everybody believes the stablecoin regulation that's coming in is what the market needs to be bullish. But I'm just here to tell you that I don't know that government involvement with Bitcoin is really a good thing for us in general. In fact, for them to gain more control over the crypto market in that way, it's a little scary, and it's actually a little against what the promise of crypto was. The promise of crypto was a decentralization, but everybody that invests in Bitcoin looks at news like that and say, oh, hey, look, the American government's doing this, and this is a great thing because this is the bullish, and this is going to make the market pump. No, don't you understand that if the governments are going to take over Bitcoin, that they need to take a monopoly over the supply of Bitcoin, right? They need to control it. Otherwise, they have no stake in it. They have no real reason to do it if they can't benefit from it. Well, how are they going to benefit from it? Well, they need to take your Bitcoin. Well, how are they going to take your Bitcoin? Are they going to make it illegal so you can't have it? No, they won't do that. What they'll do is they'll kill the price of it so they can buy it all up, so that when everybody else is selling, you can buy. See, that's what generally happens. The pattern is this: the market gets bullish and you buy at the wrong time. You're buying at the highs thinking it's going to go to 200,000. Market kind of looks like it's going up. Hey, look at this. Look at this. Market's pumping. Here it goes. It's at the all-time high. It's getting ready to break and go out. So you better buy before that break, and then all of a sudden you get boom, boom. And it goes the exact opposite way. And you bought up here thinking it's going to break out. You bought up here thinking it's breaking out because we're going. And you're buying at all the wrong times. You should have, if you wanted to buy it, you should have been buying down here at this level, down here. And this target zone. Why? Because this is at a bottom. This is where you buy when the price is discounted. You don't buy at tops. No, that's exactly right, Chemo. The thing is, before the announcement, price moves up, and then the news is released to sell. But see, the news. So price has been pumping here, brother. The price has been pumping. Okay, and so after the pump, they give the news. And they give it like on a Friday. Hey, next week we're going to pass the legislation. So over the weekend, you better be buying because that legislation, it's going to pump the market. We're strong in crypto, and we believe in crypto, and we're moving to crypto, and you better be buying up here after it's already pumped. But this is a three-wave pump here that's setting up for a three-wave dump, in my opinion. Or not a three-wave, but a five-wave dump that's going to come down to this target zone down here where we've expected it to come all along. When this was coming down here, we were looking for a little lower, pump up price, and then come down. Well, it didn't hit our ultimate target for this move up, but we pretty much got this wave structure. We've been talking about it for ages. If you've been watching, we've been talking about this flat for ages. As the potential of it, I could see it. This was shaping up for three-wavishness. I was like, this is looking like a flat. Sure enough, that's what we got. So that was one of the scenarios, been one of the scenarios for quite a while. Now what? This is ready to dump. We're at the dump stage of it. Why? Well, we have a finished wave structure. We have 5 waves, guys. We have, dang on it. We have a 5-wave structure that's about if it's not finished, it's about finished, okay? Or it really is finished. We've got all the hallmarks of a finished wave. Now, it doesn't mean it has to be finished. They can keep pumping it a little bit, so I got to caveat that, right? But nevertheless, I'm just screaming to you guys, this is a potentially finished flat. Now, again, you got to be ready to be wrong, so don't make any decisions based on me. But this is, for me, this is sell zone. Okay, if I'm holding Bitcoin, I'm selling up at this range, a repeat at this top. Now that's me. That's not financial advice. That's the way I trade. Now, if you're banking on this, going to 150,000, then hold it if you want. And you got to be okay though with the possibility that this thing breaks down and comes down and takes out 50K or 60K. You got to be all right with that, because I do think 250K is coming. I do think $200,000 is coming, more than likely to Bitcoin. It just ain't coming when you think it's coming. Okay. I don't think it's coming in the way that you think it's coming. It's going to come at a time you don't expect, and it's going to take a lot longer to get there than you believe. What you have to understand is that this three pump move of Bitcoin is designed to validate that crypto is a thing. Why do they need to do this? Why do they need to validate the viability of Bitcoin? Why? Because they are ready now to move to a digital economy. They are already shifting us with AI and with crypto. Okay, they're already shifting us to a digital economy, and they have to make it believable that this stuff actually has value. Listen, when Bitcoin over the last how many years? 10 years has been trading, not quite 10, 8 years has been trading mainly, most of the time above, $15,000. Let's just say above $10,000, one Bitcoin. That's a lot of money for an asset. Now you got Bitcoin valued at $105,000. That's a lot of money for an asset. And so the viability and the public's belief and the narrative is that Bitcoin is an asset, right? That everybody believes in, right? So now that digital is a real thing, but they had to create that in your mind. They had to create that. Nobody understood what Bitcoin was back in the day, and nobody understands fully, at least the majority of the people don't understand fully what crypto is either. The blockchain technology is here to stay. We know that. That's what they want to move us to, that digital economy. In order to do that, they've got to give us something that has what seems to be tangible value. So pump, pump, pump. We've hit the magic number, guys, $100,000. We've hit it. We are here. They even surpassed it a little bit, and they've been keeping price up here for a little while. Why do they do that? To continue to hold the narrative of the viability and the value of Bitcoin. But what I know and what they do is just when you think all the narrative is bullish, they pull the rug on you, and there's some black swan event that nobody could see coming, that nobody knows what it was, but it comes, and then all of a sudden they've got a reason why it dumps, but we knew it was going to dump before that whatever the black swan is, we knew it was going to happen. I mean, we can see it on the chart. It happens time and time again, and that's what they do. But this time we've already had 3 pumps, and we see the narrative around Trump and the American government saying, hey, we're going to be the leaders in crypto capital of the world, and we need stablecoin regulation. Yeah, all this stuff has to happen. All of that has to happen, right? So yeah, all of this is coming, it's playing, but while that sounds bullish and while that sounds awesome and while it sounds like, hey, crypto's going to the moon, more than likely it is the narrative that's going to dump this market, okay? It's going to allow the bullishness of people around the world looking at this legislation coming in to buy up here while they are really just systematically selling into the buyers, okay? In other words, if they're going to sell, they need buyers, okay? So they're going to bring it down, okay? And they're going to scare a bunch of people with the first wave. More than likely, it's going to come down, and I would bet money that the first wave goes deeper and faster than anybody expects. In other words, we get a move like this, okay? Boom, boom, boom. Okay? Something like that. And then everybody's going to be looking for the next move. Okay, so it comes down, scares everybody, gets down to about $35,000, $40,000, like wicks down there. V-shaped recovery. Okay, back up to $50,000 to $70,000. Plays around for a bit, fakes dumps, and then shoots up fast. Okay? And that'll be a recovery, like, yeah, everybody's going to believe, here we go, we're going to the moon, and then they're going to dump it again, okay? And that goes to zero. That's bad. That's a bad representation, but they're going to dump it again, okay, and take us down to 10 to 20. I think $20,000 is a pretty good bottom here. But why are they going to do that? Because that's when they hit the bottom again, when they go and break this low again, what that does to the market. And you feel it if you're a small-time trader, you feel it. whenever whenever it's coming down and then it comes back up and then it comes down and makes a lower low, you feel it. When it comes back up and you makes a lower low, you're like, oh crap, right? And that's when you're like, okay, I got to get out of here because what happens to the human brain is the first move down, you're like, oh, I know it's got to pull back, and it pulls back, but it doesn't pull back quite as much as you think it needs to, and you don't ever get out of your maybe you're long and you don't get out of that position. And then they take it down again and they're like, oh crap. And so the human brain's like, oh no, oh no, oh no. Okay, on the next pullback. And they come up and they revisit the area again. And you're like, oh, well, maybe it's going to go this time. And that was a three-way pullback and blah, blah, blah. And you hold, and then it goes again. And you're like, oh crap, and you end up selling it down here on that third push, right? I just know this because this is the way I've experienced the market through the years. I'm like, yeah, that's what they do to me all the time. Right? I've lived through that. I don't know how many times, right? I end up selling, getting out of my position, and then all of a sudden it V-shapes and comes right back up to where my entry was for a long, and then it goes where I expected it to go. But it comes down and takes me out first, okay? So yeah, I do believe the 150K is coming. I think 200K is more than likely coming, but more than likely they're going to take everybody out first. And this is going to be the time frame. And I think it's a multi-year bear market over the next 3 years. More than likely, it's a time frame that they're going to get their ducks in a row and then acquire the bulk share of Bitcoin. Okay, so they're going to continue. I mean, look at MicroStrategy. They're just acquiring Bitcoin left and right. They just keep buying and buying and buying. And they're going to continue to keep buying so they can hold the market share of Bitcoin. And that's what they're doing. They're accumulating. But don't think that they're accumulating up here. Yeah, they did some purchasing up here for news. Absolutely. They did. They had to have the news narrative. Hey, look, MicroStrategy is buying up here. They're letting you know that they're really involved in the buying. But do you think they're really doing the majority of their buying up here? No way, man. They were doing the majority of their buying down in lower levels. They will do some buys and make tweets and things to get you bullish, right? They'll say a bunch of stuff at certain levels. Yeah, we're buying right here. We are buying, and so the narrative is, well, if MicroStrategy is buying, we need to be buying. Blah blah blah, and that's the narrative, right? Because anything to get you bullish. You just got to stop listening to the news in the way that most people listen to it. Listen for any confirmation of your bias. Like if you're a moon boy, stop listening to the news for the confirmation of your bias. What is the chart saying? And what is the liquidity of the market saying? Okay, where's the liquidity? What's the wave structure telling you? And what is that liquidity saying? Okay, for me, this is danger zone. Okay. That doesn't mean it can't go up more. It doesn't mean we can't pull back and then pump more. It just means that for me, this area right around where we are is really a dangerous level for people who are late to the game. I would encourage you not to be late to the game. Okay, it's too late to be buying Bitcoin and holding for a $150,000 move because there's only risk now. There's only downside if you're wrong. There's no room. This is not where you buy Bitcoin. Okay, so this is not a safe trade zone for me. In fact, I have wave structure that is saying this is very, very potentially a three-way pullback that's setting up for another three-wave move down to this zone. Okay. Or it could wick even deeper. It could be some kind of black swan thing that wicks all the way down to 30K, but then comes right back up to 50K and settles between 50 and 70K. So watch out for such a thing, okay? It's possible. I'm not saying it's certain. I'm just saying that is, man, I can just see it. And I just want to warn you of its potential, okay? So here's what you can do to kind of protect yourself if you're worried about it. Number one, I'm not trying to offer any FUD here. I'm really not. I'm just trying to be realistic about what's happening. So here's what I would do if you're not certain. I would draw this trend line right here. I would just draw that guy, okay? And use that as an area for a stop, okay? Now, the way you use it, this is trading advice. This isn't financial advice. But the way you use a diagonal trend line like that is if it breaks the structure, okay, if it breaks that, it is letting you know that this wave has finished or has only one more move up to the upside, more than likely to go, and then it's finished. Let me give you an example. Okay. If you'll look at this move right here, You see that move right there? You see this break right here? That was wave 4, but that break told you the end is here or almost here. You got one more hit to the high, and that was your final chance, and then you're out. The trade, okay, now there's all kinds of ways to make trades by that, but the trade is once this retests and then on the 3-wave pullback there, that break right there was your sell point, okay, right here was your sell point right in here on the break of that trend line. That's a sell. You say, well, Jim, it came all the way back up. Yeah, I mean, price can do that. That's why you need to have risk management when you trade, okay? But the point is, because this actually turned into a flat is what it did. You had 3 up, 3 down, 5 up right there. You had an ending diag right there. You can't quite see it right in here, but there's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that was a 3, 3, 5 ending diag. Boom, and you can play that. But anyway, the point was that this was a flat formation. You got a wave 4. That wave 4 broke the level, gave you the clue that there was one more hit to the high, gave you a great sell, okay, into that. Now, we're getting the same thing happening here, okay? We're getting, well, I say the same thing. We're getting a similar thing happening here. You got a big flat working here. You got a potential flat working, okay? Except we already kind of got the break, okay? We kind of already got it. Right here. See that break, and then it retested one more time. And then it's been created and this triangle too, this formation right here is a triangle. And a triangle in Elliott wave lets you know that there's only one more wave to go, and we just got it. Okay, so if that is a triangle, and I believe it is, but I could be wrong on that, but if it is a triangle, then this is the end of this wave. We're now going to experience, yes, you can get some pullbacks, but we're going to experience downside more than likely. Okay, that's what I believe. That's the way I trade. That's what I look for. So I'm set. I've already taken several short trades today. I've already made money on several shorts, just small shorts, in and out. But that's personally what I'm looking for. I'm looking as a trader for short setups, not longs. I'm not looking to buy here. I'm looking to sell. Okay, so any setup I can get on the hourly time frame, on the 5-minute time frame, whatever time frame I'm trading, I'm looking for a sell. Okay, now I love this area of Bitcoin. Now I'm not trading Bitcoin. I'm trading, I'm trading XRP, right? That's why I was looking at XRP. But you'll notice, okay, I saw this formation, okay, boom, 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 right? And I was like, ooh, we got a sell setup. Why? Because in my world, that's a 3-wave formation. Or the other possibility is that this was the end of this move here, and this was an impulse. And look at that, we got a 3-wave move, but it was followed by a 3-wave move. Boom. Now this could also be a 5-wave move. We can count that as 3 or 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is the way I was kind of counting it. But you had this big volume wick here, so I was looking for that. So I got out. I actually got out at this peak right here, at this VWAP area. That's where I got out of my trade. I got out here at the midline on that first move. I was looking for some pullback, didn't get it. I wasn't worried about it. And then took another short right here. I knew it was just going to be a little pullback, so I got out of that, and I took another short in here. So I've taken 2 or 3 different shorts today, in this price action. But I'm in and out of the market. That's what I do, okay? But the point is that the setup here is the break of the structure, okay? You see that's broken. You see how the 3-wave shape, and then we've broken it. Okay, we broke it now, and this isn't the shape of a wave 4. Okay, that's the shape of an impulse wave. So any kind of pullback to the upside, I'm looking for another short to the downside. That's the benefit of Elliott. That's the way I'm thinking about the wave. Now, does it have to play like that? No, but that's what I'm watching for. That's going to be my setup. That's what I'll look for, and that's the way I'll take it. So that's what I'm looking for, just to give you some trade setups there as far as the way this price action is working. But yeah, Bitcoin is going to play around this top. It already is. It already has. It hit the top right here, rejected. Boom, hit it again. It might hit it another time. But in fact, that could be an ending diag right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then one more hit to the high. Finishes her off. Okay. But nonetheless, this is a top formation for me. Okay. Oh, sorry. Let me try again. This is a top formation on the small time frame wave. Another hit, boom, looking for down move, okay? But the problem with that down move is this is going to look like a wave 4. I don't think it's a wave 4. I think this is an initial, because that's a triangle and a finish. This is a wave 1 looking for wave 2 and more downside, okay? Now, who knows how long this first wave will go. But they need to milk this area, so I don't think it's going to take this level out very soon, okay? So anyway, that is my primary thinking as a trader. That's what I'm looking at. That's the way I'm thinking about it. Vinny says user has a few wicks to the upside fake outs. Yeah, I think we're already getting these. Those wicks are happening right here, and I don't think it's going to take out the all-time high, though it could. Price in the all-time high could be taken out. From an Elliott wave standpoint, what we're looking at here is a flat, okay? And it could be, and as far as I know, it's a larger flat. So here's a flat. For those of you that don't know Elliott, let me explain what a flat is. The wave count for a flat is a 3-3-5. So in this case, we got 3 waves to the downside, 3 waves to the upside. And the formula for this 3 wave to the upside, the B wave, is that the B wave has to retrace the A wave 90%. Minimum of 90%, but it can go 100% or even higher than 100%. It can go beyond 100%, right? So a flat says, hey, now there are 2 different types of flat. There's 3 different types. There's a regular flat where it comes 90%. It does not take the high of A out or the origin of A out, and then it comes down. This by the way would be a regular flat. Okay, then you have what's called an expanded flat. That expanded flat is where the B wave comes 100% minimum, so it comes up to the origin of A, or goes beyond A higher, so it takes that level out. So it looks like a reversal. You got, the wave count is like this. You got 3 waves to the downside, right? And this goes up, takes the high out in 3 waves, and then comes down in 5 waves. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so that's a flat. You see them all over the market, okay? Just to give you an example of a flat right here on this chart, you got one right here. Come on, there it is. You got 3 waves to the downside, 3 waves that took the high out, boom, and then boom. Now, this is called a running flat. Running flat, so that what I just showed you is an expanded flat. A running flat is when the C wave doesn't come down and take the end of A. It doesn't make a lower low of A or a higher high of A. In this case, it's a lower low. It doesn't take out that level. It just comes down and doesn't take that level. That's a running flat. So anyway, that's the flat formation. And the reason there's flats all over the market is to give the sense for reversals or bottoms when they're not really there. Okay, so I'm seeing this large formation here as a 3 wave to the downside and a 3 wave back to the upside. Okay, that has already come 90%. Now I'm just wondering, okay, what's the C wave going to look like? Is it going to come way down here? More than likely, I think that's where we're headed. Okay. Now, will the B wave take out the level of the A wave? Really, that's possible. That is really possible. Okay, so that, but I think it's also likely that we've already topped and it does not take that high out. But the requirement for a flat is that the A wave is retraced 90%. And you'll note, and that was a big part of my live stream last week, that are we going to hit this 105.7 range? And we certainly did. Okay, we hit it last week. So we had a flat validated just last week. Okay, so it has been revalidated and wicked into now. So yeah, we're good to go on the flat now. So, but if that's the case, this has to come down in 5 fast waves because it's a liquidity grabber. It comes up here, gets everybody thinking we've reversed and we're going up, boom, and then it just shoots down really fast, takes out. So that's how a flat functions in the market. It takes liquidity. And you can see those all over the place. I mean, you can see how they play out and take liquidity from everybody. Here's an example of one right here where you had a flat right here. 3 waves up, 3 waves down, 5 waves up. That's a really ugly and extended flat. And you see how it just went straight up and hit the high, took out the high. That's a flat. Okay, that's a 3 wave boom right there. Flat, done. Okay. What's interesting is the formation of how this is seen. It's really ugly. It's trashy, is what it was. Nevertheless, there it is. Took out liquidity, and then boom, came crashing down. Anybody that was going long up here because they got excited, okay, boom, they came down and took you out. Now, what they're doing here is now anybody that's late to the game shorting the market, okay, you're late to the game. Here, look what they did, okay, they gave you a three-wave boom, and then three-wave boom, took the low out and shot it up, okay. Again, they just take the low, and so what we've got here is an A, B, and the B wave took this out, so this is an expanded flat, looking for C, okay. We already got it. Now, this three wave here, it looks like a credible B wave of a larger major correction. A, this is B, and C. So all we're doing, if I just go to the daily or the 3-day chart, we've consolidated the chart, and now it just looks like a three-wave pullback. Okay, so we're looking at A, B, C. Okay, generally to find the targets for that, the 1618 is a glorious target. Okay, $55,000 is a really nice target. But if they wanted to be nasty, and I mean really nasty, they could bring this first wave down all the way to the 2618 extension. Let's pull the retrace on this. Okay, let's pull the retrace on this wave from all the way up to the top here. And notice where the 2618 is. It's at $23,000. Is it possible Bitcoin could crash that fast, that hard? Yes, it's possible. Is it going to happen? I don't think so. But man, that would, what kind of news would precipitate that kind of a crash? Now, if that happens, that could be, by the way, that could be, instead of a multi-year bear market, it's just a bear market for this year. And then in 2026 and 2027, maybe it just spends time reaccumulation, and then we go. Okay, so that's a scenario that could play out. They crash it hard. Everybody's selling because they're freaked out because the news, whatever the news is, gives everybody no confidence in Bitcoin anymore. Remember, the news when it comes out, you would never expect it. The FUD news that comes to explain a crash like that is it's always after the fact. It's never expected, and you can never. But it's always something, isn't it? It's FTX. It's Sam Bankman-Fried. It's Mt. Gox. It's whatever it is. It's the news. It's a war. It's something. And so they already have it planned. It's already planned. It's in the. But I'm telling you, that's in the chart. There's a real chance that what I just drew right there is a possibility. Now this is a great possibility. I would love for this to be the play, because then we're not in a bear market quite so long. Okay. But this could be 5 waves, and this flat that I've drawn here coming down to the 2618 would be a very fast correction. But all of a sudden you've got a wave 1, and now you got a wave 2. And now we're ready for a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And that's when, over the next 3 to 5 years, that's when Bitcoin goes up to $200,000 after it's corrected and retraced this wave. And that's what I'm saying to you guys. I'm not saying Bitcoin's going down. I just think before we come up here to 150 or 200K, guys, we're more than likely going to see a retracement of price down to $23,000. I like the $23,000 mark. I really do. I think there's real support on this chart there. I've talked about real support many, many times on this channel. The real support in this chart, some of the strongest support, there's 2 areas of real support. Okay, right here at that zone right there, and let's expand it just a little bit. Right, that zone is the real support of Bitcoin, and then the ultimate support of price is right here. That's the ultimate support of Bitcoin, the Bitcoin price, right in that level, around $3,000 to $6,000, $3,000 to $8,000. Let's include $8,000, but those zones is the area of real price support. We don't have enough time of price in this area. It really needs for a healthy correction to work its way down retest and find support here for some wave action to develop real price support that's very solid for the long-term move of Bitcoin. And if I zoomed out to the monthly, this is the way I would see the chart. Okay, I would see the chart doing something like the S&P. That this is just the beginning stage. We come down, boom. But from this point on, the price of Bitcoin and whatever, it's not going to do that. I slipped on my mouse, but basically it's just going to be up and up and up and up and up. Okay. It's gonna go. Why? Because Bitcoin is never going to increase in its supply. It's only going to be stable. It's the ultimate stable coin. It is only 21,000 ever in existence. Okay, but also the value of it against the dollar, right? But you got to understand that that's 20, 30 years of price action. Okay, so now. It may not happen quite like that, but as we think about wave structure and the way price moves, that's what I look at. All right, so that's the bearish scenario. I am bearish. I'll be honest with you. I am very bearish. Even looking at this, I'm bearish. I think that this green candle on the monthly, while it's very strong right now, could easily turn this month into a red wick, a red wick, and we could see some kind of a wick this month. And it's red, and it doesn't look as bullish. Then all of a sudden we're coming down here in June and July. Yeah, I think that's really possible. I do. Now, is there a bullish count here? Is there a bullish way to look at this wave structure? Well, the bullish way to look at it is that this right here is some kind of wave 4. That has finished, and we are now in a wave 5 that could get extended on us. Okay, and if it gets extended, yeah, 150K is possible. Shoot, 180 to 200 potentially. I wouldn't like that wave structure. It wouldn't look pretty to me, but I would say, hey, it's at least possible. So that's a scenario that could play. It's possible, but you also have to see that we have major divergence on the monthly here. You see that divergence right there? Boom, boom, major divergence. Okay. We also have RSI momentum resistance here. So it could come up higher. And so if this continues up, then we could break that momentum resistance. But we do have momentum resistance. We've got divergence. So, yeah. So anyway, guys, I'm bearish. I've looked at the bearish scenario. I understand too that if I'm wrong in my analysis, then we're going to look at this wave right here as some kind of wave 4, and that we are now in a wave 5. Now, if it is a wave 5, I would expect to see a wave 2. So this would be an initial impulse. Let's see a 3-wave pullback that is shallow. So if it's bullish, we're going to see a shallow retrace. We're still going to see a retrace. It's going to be 3 waves. It's going to look bearish. It's going to be hard to distinguish from the bearish count, but it's just going to be 3 waves. It's going to find some support up in this range, more than likely, and then shoot up and out of here. And that's the bullish scenario. That's what the bulls need to see. That's what the bulls want to see. To give you an example of something that's already done that, you'll notice this impulse right there. You see that? And then you got this little 3-wave. It was very shallow and small, and then it just got up and out of here. That's what needs to happen. Okay, that kind of wave right there, similar to this wave right there. Okay, that's the bullish scenario. That's what you want to see. That's what the bulls are hoping for. But this wave structure is showing all the signs of a finished structure. It's what I like to see in finished moves. It's a really, really good possibility that Bitcoin is about finished. And we're seeing the divergence on the multiple time frames here. Now, is it done? Does it have to be done? No, because at the end of the day, the market can pump. If too many people are bearish here, if there are too many people taking shorts here, and the liquidity is taking shorts, then they'll pull back a little bit and then take the high out, pull back and take the high out. They'll keep pumping until the bulls come in and until the buys are till the shorts are taken out, and then the buys get lopsided. Then they can sell into that. Why? Because they need willing buyers in order to sell. So they may have to take the top out from a liquidity standpoint. It just depends on liquidity. Okay, if there's enough liquidity now, enough bullishness now in the market, then they have enough buyers. If they have enough buyers, then they can sell into the buyers. But if there's not enough, then maybe the narrative needs to be flipped a little bit stronger, bullish, and get more buyers. Maybe they do have to take the all-time high out. So I'm offering the possibility here, and I have to say, listen, it's not an exact science to call a top of a wave, okay? Sometimes you get what you expect, what you look like. Like, for instance, like right here, okay, when you got this move right there, that was a good sense for, hey, that's a potential top, looking for a three-way pullback and more down. But you got another hit to the high before you got the correction down, okay? So in other words, it kind of looked like it was finished here, but it had one more hit to the high. That was, you weren't, they can, in other words, they can kind of keep hitting the high a couple of times, and it's hard to nail the top perfectly in timing. Why do they do that? It's for liquidity. They can't make it easy for you to trade. Otherwise, they wouldn't make their money. That's right, Chemo. What Chemo said is exactly right. So anyway, I think there's a real potential here, and I think it's right for me to at least warn you of the possibility of a sell-off that is imminent. It could be in the next within the next month. Okay, it could be beginning in the next week or two. Okay, starting this week, even today or tomorrow. It could start tomorrow. We could get the first wave of it. Now, more than likely, they're going to play around here at the top. They're going to work this range. They're going to work it. They're going to, you see this? See that wet range right here? They're going to work price in this range for a while, more than likely. It's going to take quite a while to develop, but eventually they're going to bring it down 5 waves. $50,000 to me is the first real target to the downside of major interest on a 5-wave. If I see 5 finished waves happening around $50,000, I'm going to be a bull boy. I'm going to get real bullish. Then I'm going to say, hey guys, we got a real potential for price, but I'm also going to be aware that they could mess us up and kind of, how do I say it? Pull back here and then come and hit it again, and hit $30,000 before we get bullish. Then they could V-shape it back up to the $50,000 to $70,000 range. I've already shared this, but they could V-shape it and then play around here for a bit. Boom, wick the bottom, make everybody bearish, and then boom. 1, 2, 1, 2. Here we go. Okay, I mean, they could do whatever trashy thing they want to do. So that's a real possibility. Well, certainly 67 is our first area of real interest, but as far as finding a bottom there, I think that $50,000, is coming. Now, what about the poop coins? As Chemo just mentioned, the poop coins would get smoked. Absolutely, they would. I believe that there is a culling of the market coming. I believe personally that there needs to be a trimming down of all the poop coins that are out there. Okay, how is that going to happen unless there's a death to some of these poop coins? Some of them are playing around zero, but they need to be killed. They need to die off. So all that money is going to get moved out of where they are into other things that have real use case. But I think these altcoins the money's going to be taken out. Something's going to be, I believe the FUD is going to be around stable coins, guys. What if and just to dream with you a little bit, what if the legislation invalidates USDT? Now, I do believe that if like USDT fails in some way, everybody's going to be trying their hardest to exit USDT, and so you would see a potential pump. So that's a scenario and at least how do I say it? A narrative that would pump the markets, where everybody would be trying to get their money out of the USDT and into something that is more reliable, like Bitcoin or any other like Ethereum and things like that, XRP or whatever. And so maybe what if USDT dies? Because of stablecoin regulation. What if something happens because of that regulation and it's actually bad for the market? So what everybody does is sells out of USDT. USDT fails. It maybe temporarily pumps the market because of all the buying. But then while everybody's buying Bitcoin, the big boys are selling Bitcoin into the buyers, right? But so it's an initial pump, but it really dumps the market because the willing buyers of Bitcoin are now getting sold into, and then all of a sudden everybody starts selling off, maybe eventually into whatever, USD1 or something like that. Maybe that's true, Chemo. I don't know. I don't have knowledge in that area. I'm just speculating here, but I'm simply saying that a stablecoin regulation might be problematic for crypto and not helpful. It might also provide the onus for people buying it, getting out of whatever stablecoin, maybe USDT or USDC or whatever, and into Bitcoin or something else, because they're scared of the longevity of stablecoins. Maybe the legislation causes there to be a shift in the entire system. But what's going to cause people to buy here at the top? Maybe they have to get out of. Shoot, if I've got $10,000 in my trading account, it's USDT, and I find out USDT is going bankrupt or whatever. Well, I don't want to lose that, right? So I'm gonna try to get into something of value. So I'd probably sell it or buy Bitcoin with it, right? But then there'd be problematic things going on there. So anyway, there's going to be something that we don't see, and it's coming, and it's going to cause it's going to cause the sell-off to be, and you're not going to see it coming, guys. So I just want you guys to be aware that something like this. Yeah, I don't know, Seth, about XRP and its ability to be a stable coin, because I know XRP actually itself isn't a stable coin, but there is a what is the it's R what is it? It's the Ripple dollar. What is it? The RUSD? So, yeah. All right. Well, anyway, guys, sell off really potential. I've told you the reasons why I think it's coming. I think the chart's calling for that potential. Keep in mind. Oh man, I'd love to see that video. I'll have to watch that video, Chemo. Something is coming. Go check Chemo Sabi's channel out after my live stream tonight. Not now, but after my live. Watch this. Something is coming. This week or next week before a bear market. Okay, there you go. All right, let's take a peek at Ethereum, because I think the Ethereum chart is trash. We'll just look at this real quick. You see this? So this pump is real trashy. I think this chart is really calling for a potential down another wave to the downside. Okay, so see this wave right here? See that? See what came after? Okay, something like that is coming, or even something to the downside is coming. I would like it to take out the low. The reason I would like that is because you got 3 down, you got 3 up, looking for 5 down. So I'm calling this wave 4, looking for a 5. Looking at the hidden bearish divergence here, the strong hidden bearish divergence here. So yeah, Ethereum for me is a sell right now with all the hidden bear. You've also got break to the downside of structure on the daily chart. It's broken. So yeah, there will be a pullback at some point. There will be a pullback, but looking for sells on Ethereum. That's the way Ethereum looks. Let's look at XRP and see if that chart's calling for sells as well. Looking on the daily chart, what are we seeing here? Okay, we're seeing wave structure very, very similar to see that move right there. This is the same thing that we're seeing. We're seeing the same wave structure. Okay, it's just bigger, but it's the same thing. So I'm looking for this more than likely to come down and take the low here again, and come down even more. Remember, what does XRP like to do? Well, historically, let me see if I can find an XRP chart that gives more history here. Boom, there we go. Historically, whenever XRP goes straight up, even right here, it comes all the way back down in 3 complex waves, okay? So it went straight up, came all the way back down in 3 complex waves. Straight up, 3 complex waves, boom. So you have it straight up here, okay? I'm looking for 3 complex waves all the way back down. So it may take some time. I don't think it's coming straight down, but it's possible that it could come down fast. Just saying that a sell-off back down to here for XRP is very likely, based on the way the waves move and its patterns. Okay, to leave all of this price unchecked and unrevisited, that is not XRP's play. That is not the way XRP likes to play. If I get a retest of this area and some support here, I would then look for a long in XRP. Maybe after that. That's when I would be looking for a long. But as far as I'm concerned, XRP is not ready to just go shoot the moon. I think XRP is going to go to $11. I think it's going to go higher than that, but I don't think it's going in the way that you think it's going. I don't think it's going in as fast as you're going. Do you think it's going to go or want it to go? It's going to get there, but it's going to take years. Okay, it's not going to take months, and it's not going to happen this year, more than likely. This wave structure is bearish. This is not positive. This is not good. This is not finished. This is just the beginning stages. This is just the first wave down. This wave structure is really challenging, but we could have some kind of weird flat here that is going to call for more downside to reconnect. So again, this wave is calling for down. Ethereum's calling for down. Bitcoin has a real potential. Guys, I mean, I'm just bearish. I'm not bullish. Could the market pump? Could I be wrong? I mean, yeah. Okay, so I'm always going to remind you I could be wrong, but I'm here to tell you what I think and why I think it. Okay? All right, looking at the DXY, guys, I'm bearish on the dollar, okay? But we've had some pullback here, but ultimately I'm looking for more downside to the DXY, looking for this to be a 5-wave move down to $90. Okay, a revisit of 90 to 92 is, in my opinion, inevitable for the dollar. So the dollar looks to be going down. Okay, looking at the S&P, just taking a peek at the S&P, we're getting a revisiting of this top, which is super interesting on the 3-day. This thing just kind of keeps pumping. Right now, the funny thing is, we're getting we got a 3-wave shape here. If this thing finds resistance here and comes down, we could see a sell-off here and a break of this trend line here on the S&P. Okay, so watch out for something like that, and that would get real scary for the markets if that happens. Right now, everybody's looking at this bullish. Here we go. We're gonna go take the highs out. Could, but we could also be doing something like this wave right here. Okay, where we've come up kind of fast, and then all of a sudden it rolls over. Okay, so watch it. We've come up kind of fast. This thing could just roll over and come on down and take the low out. Watch out for that. We could go pump the high, and I could see a blow off top here. I could. But remember, if we get that blow off top, I'd be looking to sell into it. Okay, not continue to buy. But again, that's the way I think about trading. Looking at the Nasdaq, same thing. Okay, got a big old gap right here. We got a three-wave shape here. This is a three-wave pullback shape. I would look for this to come down and be much like this wave was right here. That would be one idea. Or this was the pullback. We get another hit to the high, blow off top, and look to sell into that after we hit the high. Tesla is super interesting to me. I'm going to look at Tesla with you just a moment because this is coming back quite deep. I'm surprised at how deep this is coming back. But we got three, looking at 5 here. That could be finished. Okay, and that would be a wave 4. Okay, and so here's the way I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this as a wave 1, 2, 3, 4. I need a 5th wave down. Okay. And what that would be overall would be a WXY. If I'm correct, this would be W, this would be X, looking at this as a Y. Sorry, not a WXY, incorrect, wrong label. It would be an ABC flat that I explained to you earlier. This would be a 3, looking for 5. And so we got a deep wave 4. It looks like a reversal. It looks like it's gone the other way. Watch it roll over potentially and then come down to my target zone is about from $70 to $100 in price, or it could go out as low as 40. I like the $90 range, but I also like the $40 range of Tesla for revisiting this low down here. Okay. But that's a buy zone for me. That's a strong buy zone for me because I'm looking at this chart as we've got a nice wave 1. Okay. We've had a beautiful wave 1, and this is a big complex wave 2, revisiting the low. Okay, but it's going to hopefully flag out and then provide some generational wealth for you and your family as you invest in it. And as the coming age gets more digital and robotic and everything else, and as AI takes over the next 30 years, you're going to see Tesla stock going above 1,000, tripling, and that's where you have generational wealth you pass down to your kids. Okay, so if you get a revisit of $40 to $70, I'm a buyer of Tesla as long as Tesla's future, it looks like it's holding. And Elon is still alive and things of that nature. But that's the way I'm looking at that chart from an Elliott standpoint. Long term, this is a huge 1-2 looking to buy down here, okay, for a major move to the upside. Leave some money to your kids. It's the kind of thing that don't you wish you bought Amazon back in the day, okay? Don't you wish you bought Walmart stock back in the day, McDonald's stock back in the day? Right, those kinds of, okay, that's where Tesla is right now. Okay, Tesla's in its wave 2 stage. You want to buy Tesla as long as Tesla's going to be around, and as long as its fundamentals look good, you want to be buying Tesla and holding it. So if you get a price dip back down to $70 to $40 a share, you won't ever see another dip in price like that again. I believe Tesla is going to be going up. Not financial advice, just what I believe. Now, it all depends on fundamentals at the time of price being down there. But I see this from a wave structure standpoint as a 1-2. And the 1-2 is not finished. Now, if I'm wrong, it's already bullish. And let's talk about the bullish contingency, okay? If this is already a 1-2 and it's already happened, okay, then this is a 1-2, 1-2. And we're already in wave 3, okay, and we're heading up. So I'll tell you where you know that that's going on from a wave structure standpoint. If this level gets broken at 171, if 171 gets broken, this is not a wave 4. Okay, this no longer is a wave 4. Because wave 4 cannot encroach into the area of wave 1, okay? So I can't call this a wave 4 anymore. I have to call it something else. So I would get a lot more bullish if this area gets broken, looking for a three-way pullback and then a continuation, I'd be buying that like crazy. Okay. So yeah, from a wave structure standpoint, I'm looking lower. But yeah, so let's see if like I said, 171 is the key level. Okay. If that breaks, then I get a little bit more bullish. That doesn't mean I buy right away. It means I wait for the wave structure to show me a pullback and then a continuation. Then I'll be buying Tesla. Okay. All right. There it is. All right. Somebody asked me to look for Monero. So let's take a look at Monero. The Binance daily chart. Was it 371? Yeah, my eyes were bad. So yeah, if it's 371, yeah. Let me go back and see it. Yeah, 371. Sorry. Yes, well, 375. 374. Yeah, 37 whatever the bottom of this candle is. Let's look at the bottom of that candle. 373.04. Okay? 373.04, that to be exact. If we break that level, then I change my tune a little bit. But if we get a red candle, pull back and continuation down, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, looking for anywhere from $40 to $100. Let's see. Let me pull the fibs on it. $177, 91, the 161. Let's see. Yeah, the 1414 is $48, $50. I like that zone. A, B, C. Find some support and let's go. Let's buy some Tesla. Okay. All right. Looking at XMR. Yeah, I mean, you look at XMR on the daily, and what you've got here is you've got a pump, right? Then you got an initial wave down, a recovery wave that may or may not be finished. I don't have a great topping formation, but here we're pretty overbought here, pretty strongly, looking for another wave back down to the original low. Why isn't the rest of the history of Monero here? Thank you. The Kraken chart sucks too. Is there a Coinbase chart? Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. This is the Kraken 2-day chart. Yeah, so you've got what we call a single print here. You got a breakout of this area, and it's single printed. It is definitely reasonable to consider a pullback in price all the way back down to fill that big stick. But it's also reasonable to think we're going to continue coming down, okay, in three-wave fashion. Um, but if it pulls down here and then gets bullish again, because you really don't have three pushes. This could be the third push, but I wouldn't understand that in light of Bitcoin. Okay, what we're coming into the 1618 area, so there is room for this to continue pumping. Will Bitcoin continue pumping? I don't know. Good question. Let me look at XRP here for a moment. Ugh. Okay. All right. I'm saying ugh because I'm doing this and I'm missing my move trading. So, all right. So that's Monero. Yeah, Monero looks like it's got some more up to go, but I do see a pullback coming here. Boom. Back down to this level before it goes. See this move right here? It single printed up. It came back down before it shot back up. So yeah, I think it's gonna refill that gap before it goes up again. So I would expect it to come back down to the $246 level range, $250 range, and it could happen relatively quickly, um, within a day or two, and then back up potentially. We're pretty oversold, overbought in Monero. So I want to look at Link for a minute because somebody asked me to look at it last week. I totally forgot them to do it. I said I would do it, and I did do it. So let's do Link, and then let's do Doge for Eric, um, and then we'll maybe call it a night. If you have any other kind of major coins you want me to look at, you can mention them. Um, yeah, Link is a tough one for sure. I mean, this wave structure seems impossible for me because what I've got here is either the bullish count is a 1, 2, 1, 2. So we need to kind of play around here a little bit, and then we're going down just a little bit, and then we could start pumping again, right? So there's your bullish moon boy count for Link. Okay, so if you get some kind of a three wave here, you got an initial wave, boom. You get some kind of three wave that then starts going and breaking that, then that's a buy zone for maybe a bigger move. Now I don't know what Bitcoin would do in light of that, but so that would be decent. But that's your hope. That's the bullish moon boy hope. But what if this is three? That's three, and now we're getting three. That's the bear boy hope that we're getting a wave here, but we're getting bearish. I don't like this wave structure. I don't understand it. Let me just say I don't understand that wave structure. I don't. but it could be very bullish. So again, if it's bullish, here's what I'm expecting. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's done. It's done. Let's get an ABC to the downside. Now that ABC could take any number of, but some kind of three wave. Okay. Let's break that structure back to the upside. Let's buy in this zone right here, and let's see where she goes. See if we get a pump, taking out that high, going to where you expected it to go, Keith, but just not in the way you expected it. Okay. All right. Let's look at Doge for Eric. There it is. Weekly chart. Oh, come on. 3-day chart. There we go. I mean, it's the same thing. You know, what is this doing? Is this a wave 1, 2, 3, 4? Are we getting 5? So we coming down for 5? Okay, in which case you get 3-wave pullback and then continuation. Or is this 3 waves and it's finished? Maybe a revisit and then going to continue up. Why? What would make Doge go up? Well, it doesn't have any intrinsic value. So what would, you know, that's my issue with this Doge here. It's just there's no value here. There's nothing. So, but nonetheless, there you go. Maybe it goes up. Yeah, LTC, same way. There's nothing there. Let's take a peek at LTC. I haven't looked at LTC in a minute. Yeah, I mean, you're looking at LTC and like, hey, let's go up. I mean, yeah, that's on the table. And so looking at LTC, you're kind of getting a little excited, but what's going to prevent it? What's going to make it go up and then I mean, it just keeps going up and down, up and down. You know, what is that? It's just a pump and dump scam. The wave structure here is challenging. This looks like 3. Boom, boom, boom. But this looks like 3 as well. So what now? Do you get 3? So we're going to get a little bearishness and then more up before down. Yeah, I don't understand here, but maybe we need an alt season for sure. Maybe an alt season is coming, but this is ugly, nasty. $20.27, huh, Nick? Okay. Let's look at SOL for a minute. Yeah, you had a nice finished 5-wave move here. Boom, finished. You had an initial wave. So the question is, what is this wave right here? Is this 3? Or is that the end of an impulse wave? This is wave A, looking for wave B, then C, and then down. But that's what I'm expecting, something like that. Or this is 4, we get 5, and then 3-wave back. That takes a while. So we get a dump and then a correction back up, and then we get another dump later. But ultimately, I'm looking at that and I'm like, this ain't finished. This is not finished. Or it's more like, you see this pullback right there? That's what this is right here. That. And so this is just going to be coming down. And this is A, B, C. Setting up for a bigger move later, and that's a 1, 2, 1, 2, and then we set up to go. So that's SOL potentially. All right, guys. Well, there it is. That's my live stream for tonight. I'm fairly bearish. I think I'm personally looking for short setups. I'm not looking to take longs. So be careful on your longs. You can take them. Just make sure you take them at the right place when the price is discounted, and you know, be patient for the moves to finish, and you know, watch out up here. It's worth watching out. Well, guys, I'm pretty tired. I'm going to call it a night. I hope y'all have a fantastic evening. Thanks for joining me on Sunday Night Charts. Hit the likes if you enjoyed it, and let everybody know you watch Sunday Night Charts every Sunday. That said, thank you, Kemosabe, for being here. Seth, thank you for being here. Nick and Keith and Eddie and all of you who added to the conversation. Appreciate you guys. Love you. Y'all have a good one. Bye-bye.